What is up? What is going on, everybody? I am back with the Mariners post-game recap and how sweep it is. The Mariners finish off a four-game sweep in Anaheim, their first four-game sweep in Anaheim since 2005. I remember that series very well. I think Jamie Moyer got his 300th career win in that series. I think it was, I don't 200th or 300th, but whatever. It was a long time ago. The Mariners finish off the four-game sweep in Anaheim. I'm going to dive into it all. Before I get started, please hit that subscribe button for me. Thank you again. My last two post games have each reached 1,000 views. Just blows my mind that many people watching it. So cool. If you guys can help me out, you never know. If you're just stopping by, you like what you see, or at least in terms of the takes of the Mariners, hit that sub button for me. Let's see if we can get it to 2,000 after this video. It's not impossible. Not impossible. Hope you guys are enjoying it. The Kenny Easley jersey is up. Finally got it up. The autographed Kenny Easley jersey is up. The Eagles stuff is gone. So the Kenny Easley jersey is up. Let's get into the game real quick. I'll take a look at the box score here. The Mariners win it, like I said, 3-2 today. I'm just going to move over and look at the box score. Start with the pitching here as I move over from the wrap to the box score. Bryce Miller, what a performance today. 5 innings, 5 hits, 1 run. It was within the first 3 batters. It was tied at 1. It looked like it might be a long evening for Bryce, but he bounces back with no walks and 10 strikeouts. I really can't figure out Bryce Miller, to be perfectly honest with you guys. Listen, here's my thing with Bryce, and fantastic today. Listen, anytime you strike out 10 and don't walk a single hitter, you did something right on the mound. No question about it. And good job by Bryce to battle to go 5 innings after a shaky first inning as well. And good job to get out of that jam in the first inning by Bryce Miller. So that was really impressive outing. I think what it is with Bryce Miller is, kind of a one-pitch pitcher. And I'll dive into it. I actually thought his breaking ball looked better today. But I think you got a bit of a one-pitch pitcher with that one pitch being ridiculous. His fastball, if you look at Baseball Savant, it's got like one of the highest spin rates of any fastball in baseball. So it is a ridiculously good pitch. But it's really his only good pitch. So if you can just time it up as a hitter, you're going to hit it a long way. He's providing the velocity for the bats, right? So I think that's why we see strikeouts and home runs given up by Bryce Miller and hard hits. Even today, the stuff that was hit hard. When you can make contact with it, you can hit it a long way. Now, trying to make contact with it, it's not easy. So I think that's kind of where it is for Bryce. I thought his breaking ball looked much better today. Really, I thought it's most effective I've seen it all season. I would have to really go back and watch. Always tough watching a game in the first sitting, especially when it's a team you're rooting for, because you're not really you're kind of more paying attention to results. Then you go back and analyze games. Football, that's easy to do because you have a whole week. Baseball, you got to move on pretty quickly. But I did think from what I saw, the breaking ball looked better. Nice job by Isaiah Campbell. He threw a shutout 6th inning. I thought Trent Thornton actually looked pretty good. He gave up the home run to Theis. I was just about to make a post on Twitter saying I thought Thornton was really impressive, and then he gives up the home run. But again, I like what I've seen from Trent Thornton. He actually reminds me a little bit of Paul Sewald. I think Thornton's a little more over the top with his delivery than Paul was, but I do get some Sewald vibes there. And Thornton was kind of the same way. Now, Thornton was a starter and then was used more as a long reliever like Paul was in New York. Came to Seattle, they made him more of a 1-inning reliever. Now, Thornton did throw 2 1/3 in his first outing for the Mariners, but curious if they maybe focus on him being more of a short inning, a shorter reliever, and see the results. So far, I've actually been pretty impressed. Home run notwithstanding. Listen, he threw a bunch of sliders. I actually noticed that he shook off Cal before that pitch to Theis, and it was another slider, and he hung it, and Theis hit it out. He had thrown, I think, 7 straight sliders. Theis' sitting slider, and it hung. All recipes for disaster. Topa with a solid 8th inning. He gave us a little scare on the Drury fly ball. And man, I cannot say enough about Taylor Saucedo. What an outing. How Saucedo has really stepped up since Paul was traded. He's been solid all year, but he went from really good at the beginning. I thought he dropped off a little bit, and he's really picked it back up. He's been one of the main reasons how the bullpen has really stayed together here since the Sewald trade. I'm going to give kudos to Scott. I thought he really managed the bullpen well on a day when he had no Matt Brash, no Andres Munoz, And it sounds like no Gabe Spire. I mean, clearly no Gabe Spire because we would have seen Spire. So I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully it's not an injury of any kind and we see Spire back in there pretty quickly. But I can't imagine that Spire was available today. I mean, unless, and you still had Devin Sweet was the other reliever that wasn't used. So clearly, that's probably your three best relievers right now. So kudos to Scott. And I mean, let's give him credit. Now, it might have been a little dicey had the Angels tied it up with what you're going to do there in the bullpen. I imagine Saucedo probably could have gone 3, and then you just would have turned it over to Sweet and see what happens. But I thought he did a good job. I thought he took Miller out at the right time. Looked like the velocity had dipped down a little bit in the 5th inning. It's kind of what we've seen from Bryce Miller, over the course of his, at least recently, that kind of velo dip. I thought he got him out at the right time. Would have been really easy to send Bryce out there for the 6th inning with the bullpen being thin. I don't even think it would have been a bad idea necessarily to do it. Would have been really easy to do it. So I thought Scott did a good job and managed everything really well. Listen, I'm not going to put, I say this all the time, this is like one of my sayings, but I'm not going to put this offensive performance into the Hall of Fame. Okay. They were not amazing offensively, but they battled against a pitcher that looked really, really good today. And Chase Silseth was really impressive. 7 innings for him, 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 1 walk, 12 Ks. I thought the breaking ball was fantastic. I thought he spotted his fastball really well. Let me add one more thing real quick. Oh my gosh, was Junior Valentine atrocious today. Oh, that was one of the worst umpire. I really want to see that scorecard tomorrow for Valentine. He was bad. And also, I mean, bad on both sides, but that pitch to JP in the 10th should have been a ball. Oh, in the bottom of the inning, listen, Saucedo was amazing. He deserves all the praise. But woof, he got a couple calls there to Renfroe. And then the one to Wallach. Is it Wallach? Yeah, Wallach, the catcher, was way outside and it was called a strike. So a rough afternoon for Mr. Valentine. Robo-umps here soon. And if anything, like when I call for robo-umps, it's like in defense of these guys. It's hard to umpire. Pitchers are throwing with 10 times, I mean, not 10 times, but double the movement they used to throw with. I mean, it's hard. I'm not mad at the umps. Like, they're doing their best. It's hard to track these pitches. Man, if I didn't have the pitch zone, I wouldn't be able to call half these correctly. So who am I to blame these guys? But man, Valentine was absolutely atrocious behind the plate. I'm not going to apologize for it because I'm not Junior Valentine, but yeah, he was bad. But yeah, I thought Silseth really looked impressive. He was one of those, I think he was drafted in 2020. Was that the year the Angels drafted like all pitchers out of college or something like that? So I think he was one of the guys from that group. And again, he was really impressive. I thought he threw the ball well. Listen, I know there was a time a few months ago, if you guys are new here, I was kind of saying, hey, I cannot tip my cap to any more pitchers when the offense was struggling. I cannot tip it anymore. The Mariners just have to start hitting. But they're playing better offensively. And winning cures all as well. Let's remember that. But they are playing better offensively. I can tip my cap a little bit more now. I thought Tyler Anderson threw the ball okay last night. I thought Silseth threw the ball really well today. It's easy to tip my cap when they win, that's for sure. But had they lost it, I still would have said the same thing. He was impressive. Again, I said with Miller, you can't look at 10 strikeouts, no walks, and say it's unimpressive. You can't look at 12 strikeouts, 1 walk, and say it's not impressive. Yes, the Mariners are prone to strikeouts. Yes, they've had some offensive struggles this season. But in general, Silseth was good. So let's get into the offense. JP was 1 for 5, led off the game, first pitch home run, 10th home run, career high for JP. Didn't get on base again the rest of the way, but if you're going to get 1 hit, make it a home run for that slugging percentage. So JP continues to be on fire. Julio 2 for 4. I think he had a ringing base hit and I think an infield hit. Julio's continuing to stay hot. He's getting some of those ground balls are at least turning into hits for him. So it doesn't have to be, I'd want to see Julio drive the ball more, and he's starting to, but nothing wrong with some of those grounders turning into base hits as well. Gino was 1 for 5, kind of what I said yesterday with Ty. Like, if you're going to get 1 hit, make it a clutch one, and not a great series for Gino, but he certainly made the most of his 1 hit. He delivered the winning RBI in the top of the 10th inning. Was a little dicey there because Julio didn't slide into third. I wonder if that's on Manny Acta for not giving him the right signal there, but either way, but Gino technically with the game winner. So if you're going to get 1 and it's going to be a single like Ty last night, make it a big one. Cal was 0 for 4 with a walk. Canzone, rough game for him. He was 0 for 4. Teo 3 for 4. How about Teo? I think he had a double, a single, and a home run, triple short of the cycle for Teo. He had 3 hits the other night on Friday as well. Boy, could they use a hot Teo streak just to get this team over the hedge here. Man, I keep getting these ads popping up on MLB.com here. Go away, ads. Okay. Teo and Ty, man, if those guys could just get hot. And they don't have to be MVP level, just be league average hitters. Just be your career average. I'm not asking like, man, this guy needs to step up and lead this team. Just be what you've been in the past. That's not asking for too much, I don't think. If they could get that from Teo and Ty, this team could really, really take off. Not that they already haven't. Cobby pinch ran, wrecked some havoc on the bases. Ford was 0 for 3 with the walk. He did have a fly ball I thought was going to get out for a second. So, better. I'm not against Mike Ford being on the roster. I don't think he should be the everyday first baseman in DH, and he's clearly not anymore. I think Ty was just given the day off today, which is fair against a righty. And, Ford can draw the occasional walk. He can hit the occasional homer. He's a perfectly fine bench bat. Where you use Mike Ford, in my opinion, is you're down 3-2 in the 9th inning, 2 outs, Caballero's due-up or something like that. And you pinch hit Mike Ford for him. You hope Ford runs into one. If he does, great. If he doesn't, well, whatever. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I think you use him. Cade Marlowe was 0 for 4. Josh Rojas looks really bad. He was 0 for 3. And listen, this comes from someone that really liked that addition. I was like, hey, they're going to be better than Colton Wong at second base. And I will still defend Rojas. This is a guy that did have last 2 years 112 WRC plus and a 103 WR or OPS plus, excuse me. So he hasn't been a terrible hitter in his career. He's been bad this year, but he's also battling some injuries. But I don't think he's hit one ball hard this year. I could be wrong in that, but everything he has not looked good. He has not found his groove yet. Neither is Canzone. We'll see. Listen, we're talking about 10 at-bats. Every player in baseball has a bad 10 at-bats, but we'll see. Not so far, not super impressed, but as someone that, again, really defended the trade, I do think Rojas is going to be a net positive over the course of this season. And Ty was 0 for 1 in a pinch hit. He scored. Oh, yeah, he was the ghost runner in the 10th inning. Like, when did he score a run? Where was I going here? Listen, fantastic series sweep. I mean, you can't get much better than that, can you? The Seattle Mariners, all close games, all games they would have won last year. And all games that have felt like in April and May and June, they would have lost. So such a major, major turnaround for this team to get there and to get that sweep. And all 4 games, like I said, this was not like 4 blowouts here in a row. This was 4 games that I think the Angels could legitimately look at this and say they should have won all 4. Now, had the Mariners lost all 4, we could have gone the other way too. But they were losing these games. I know that I'm sounding like a broken record here. They were losing these games in April, May, and June. And now they're starting to pull them out. They're winning these type of games. We saw a little bit in the Twin Series in Minnesota. We saw it against the Blue Jays before that in Seattle. Saw it against Boston a little bit, even going back like the San Francisco series, the Tampa series, the Houston series. Like, they're starting to win these games again. I didn't expect them to necessarily get back to last year's pace in these one-run games. But for a while there, this team was like the worst team in baseball in one-run games. And I came on and made some videos, said this team has been unlucky. And I got some pushback for that, which is fair. And I want to be clear, unlucky doesn't mean good, and lucky doesn't mean you're bad, for the record. It just means that you're not getting those breaks. And the Mariners were not getting them earlier in the year, whether it was just little bouncers finding holes, not getting that hit in extra innings and winning those games. There was no reason this team should be the worst team in baseball in one-run games. They had a worse record than Oakland in one-run games for a decent portion of the season. I mean, do you think that the Oakland A's should be better in one-run games than the Mariners? Of course not. So, a big win. I know some people are frustrated they're not making up a lot of ground on Toronto. Let's actually go to the standings real quick. And I want you guys to take a deep breath on that, and I'll tell you why. No, I don't want MLB TV for Dodgers and Padres. Okay, let's go to the wild card. They didn't gain any ground in the division as Houston and Texas both won today. So I know some people are frustrated. Mariners won 5 in a row, and they're still 2.5 back of the Toronto Blue Jays. Seems very frustrating. But I'm giving you a couple reasons to take a deep breath on it. Number one, the Mariners just swept the Angels. You probably just ended the Angels season. In all honesty, and truthfully, I'm going to probably sound over-exaggerated here. You may have just ended the franchise of the Angels for a few years as well, because Ohtani's probably gone at the end of the year. I don't know when Trout's coming back. They traded their top 2 prospects in the Giolito trade, which I get them going for it. You might as well, because those prospects aren't going to save you once Ohtani's gone. But yeah, that team's going to be probably a bit of a mess for a few years. You never know. You never count anybody out of anything. But yeah, you probably just obliterated that franchise a little bit, to be perfectly honest. So they're kind of out of it. Boston's lost 4 in a row. They're kind of drifting away now a little bit. The Yankees lost 2 out of 3 to the Astros. They're sort of drifting away a little bit. So yes, you didn't gain a lot of ground on Toronto, but you didn't lose any ground. And actually, over the last 5 games, the Blue Jays are 4-1. You're 5-0. You've gained a game. And now less teams are in the mix. You got some of these teams out of the way. It's not over yet. A lot of baseball left. Maybe, who knows? The Angels could win 10 in a row, so could Boston. So nothing's set in stone yet. But you've kind of forced Boston and the Angels out of this. The Yankees a little bit too. You're shrinking the competition. That's not a bad thing as long as you keep it winning. Now, if the Mariners had lost these series, yeah, it would have been a mess. But and look at it from Toronto's standpoint. They've won 4 to 5. And you would think winning 4 to 5, you should have catapulted way ahead. They're still only 2.5 games up. And actually, you've gained some ground on Houston, who's technically the second wild card right now, and you're 3.5 back of them. And you're 6 back of Tampa. No, wait, you're 7 back of Tampa Bay. That's going to take a little climbing to get to Tampa Bay there, but you have shrunk the gap big time. You're within shouting distance of Houston, who's the second wild card, and you still play them 6 or 7 times. You have the tiebreaker against Toronto. So that 2.5 games is legitimate. For anybody that doesn't know, the tiebreaker is divisional records. And Toronto is like awful in their division. Let me see if I can click on the advanced standings here, if that gives that to me. Yeah, so Toronto is 11-23 in their division. The Mariners are 19-11 in their division. So in terms of the tiebreaker, the Seattle Mariners have a 8, that's 12, so 9 to, that's a 10-game lead on the tiebreaker with the Blue Jays. So unless the Mariners lost every other division game and the Blue Jays essentially win the rest of their division games, the Mariners have the tiebreaker over the Blue Jays. So you've just got to find a way. I'm trying to think. And the Mariners also have that half game in their favor. What I mean by that is the Mariners have played less games than the Blue Jays. So that half game, you control your own destiny. That the Mariners have 1 more game to play than the Blue Jays do, which is nice. You want that in your own hand. So technically, I mean, I'm going a little far here. You're 2 games back of being in a playoff spot. You control your own destiny with the half game, and you have the tiebreaker. So take a deep breath, everybody. Don't worry that they have not gained a lot of ground on Toronto. The good news is the pool of teams in this race is shrinking, and that's awesome. That is a good thing you want. Make it tighter. Go catch Toronto. Go do it. So hope you guys have a great Sunday. Hope you guys enjoy my video. I said, please hit sub. I'd love to. Maybe we can. Maybe we can get it to 2,000 with this video. Who knows? Hit that sub button for me. Hit the like button. Again, thank you all. Truly, truly blessed. I got to fix that jersey a little bit. It's like a little off on that side there. Just backward. It's a little in tight there. But we're all Seattle in the background now, so that's awesome to see as well. So hit that like button, hit the sub button. I'm going to have a Seahawks video up tomorrow. We're just going to kind of go through training camp a little bit, see some of the stories where we're at and some of the injuries of some of these guys because the Mariners are off tomorrow. So let's do a little Seahawk chat tomorrow. Talk about maybe some of the positional battles. Some of, I haven't really gone in where I view the Seahawks, how I think they're going to do. So I'll go into a little bit of that as well. I think there's a lot of strengths on this team. There's some weaknesses still too with the Hawks. So we'll dive into all that as well. Mariners will be back on Tuesday. I don't know if I'm going to be live for that. My voice, I don't know if you can hear it. I am hurting. I've had 3 cups of tea since last. I did 3 straight live streams doing the post games. So hope you guys appreciate the effort I try to put into it. But again, my effort means nothing without you guys, and you guys rock. Truly blessed. Truly from the bottom of my heart, appreciate it. So have a great night, everybody. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And as always, go Mariners. How sweet it is. Peace.